Good morning, everyone. Leah Dixon here from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. I am live with my fourth in my Celebration Sunday series, and this is a very cool time of year in the Stampin' world. If you're familiar with Stampin' Up, this is what we call Celebration. It's a time of year where you can actually earn free product with your purchases. So we have two kind of categories. With a $60 purchase, we have a selection of product, and with $120 purchase, we have a whole bunch of other stuff that you can earn. So today I'm featuring the Favoured Flowers Designer Series paper, which is one of our free products. I'm going to switch over to just my desktop so you guys can have a really good up-close view of that. So here we go. So what I have here is our, this is actually a 12 by 12 paper, but I've cut it down to 6 by 6 to show you more easily all the patterns that come in this Favoured Flower Designer Series paper. And so this is my preferred side of the paper because this is all of our geometric patterns and it's in the colors that I absolutely love. So we've got Cajun Craze and Calypso Coral, Fresh Freesia, Petal Pink, Old Olive, and Blackberry Bliss. So just absolutely my favorites. The other side, though, is absolutely stunning as well. It is where our Designer Series paper got its name, is the Favoured Flower. So it's all of these beautiful floral patterns with the black background that just really makes them stand out and look so stunning. So these are really nice to use as backgrounds, or you can cut out the flowers and use them to create all sorts of beautiful cards. So today I am again using just the patterned side because that's my kind of preference. And especially since this whole week I've paired it up with the Sweet Citrus bundle. So this is a stamp set, and then it has a coordinated die set and a hybrid embossing folder. And we're going to get to see this hybrid embossing folder in action today and see how it works actually with the dies. So kind of cool. All right, so let's get started crafting. We have a whole bunch of paper here. So our beginning is simply a thick basic white cardstock base. And I'm just going to grab my bone folder and give that a little bit of a burnish so that our card's going to stay closed nicely. All right, so that is our beginning, nothing fancy. Then I have got here some Pool Party and a piece of basic white cardstock that just layers in on there, like just. The first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to use our embossing folder on this piece of paper and emboss the whole thing with that awesome citrus look. So to do that, this works just like any regular 3D embossing folder. We're going to pop it into our embossing folder. And then I've been showing you guys the mini so much lately because it's part of our join special. But today for this guy, we are going to use the, craft a lunch. We are going to use the big machine. Just knocked over all my papers. There we go. Pick those up. All right. So I've got the big machine, and to use a 3D embossing folder, you want to use your base plate. So that's plate number 1. You put in your folder with your paper inside it. And then we're going to use the dark gray plate, plate number 4. And that's the sandwich for running a 3D embossing folder through your machine, the big machine. All right. And now we can move that out of the way. I will need it back though, so I won't put it far because we're going to use this one more time for our citrus as well. All right, so I have my piece of basic white now, all embossed. Oh, good morning, Leslie Ann. There we go. So we've got that beautifully embossed piece of paper. So pretty. Now, this may, sometimes when we emboss our papers, their sizing changes a little bit, so we may need to trim it. I'm just going to give a little peek here. Nope, it's actually good. Okay, sometimes it just kind of pushes the paper out of shape. So we don't need to trim this one. So I'm going to grab my liquid glue and I'm going to get a piece of, this is a piece of that Favoured Flowers Designer Series paper, and it's a Fresh Freesia design. And I'm going to glue that onto my embossed layer. And then I'm going to glue my embossed layer onto my pool party layer. So there we go, just some liquid glue there. I do like to start like top down because then I can really get in here, wiggle that around and make sure that these layers are nicely lined up. It's harder to do if you're gluing this on top of another layer and can't touch the edges. All right, and then we'll do the back of this and put it onto our pool party. So just like that. So it is a very thin border. I could have changed my dimensions, I guess, and made it a thicker border, but I wanted just a really subtle pool party look to this. Okay, so you can just push that down from the other side. So we have that main layer created now. Now before we add this to our card front, I am going to add a little bit of ribbon to this. So I'm going to take a piece of our Pool Party 3/8 Grow Green ribbon, and I'm cutting it just a little bit longer than the piece I'm attaching it to. We're kind of going to do a cheat here. I am not going to tie a bow or tie a knot or anything on this. I am going to simply line this up just above that Designer Series paper and then flip this over. Oh, that's not going to work. There we go. I will line up my cardstock like that. There we go. So I know that my DSP ends right there at that line. So I've just put some Seal Plus on both sides. And what that's going to allow me to do, you could use tear and tape for this or really any dry adhesive, is now I can take this ribbon right where I want it and tuck it behind, and it's sticking down into those bits of Seal Plus that I've put there so that it's flat across. What's important though is there's no adhesive on the front of this card. This ribbon is only attached at the back. And that's going to be really important because we're actually going to put some twine under it and tie a little knot. But before we do that, we're actually going to attach this to our card front. So I'm going to grab my liquid glue one more time. Here we go. So I've been having lots of messages recently as we come to the end of the month asking me about Celebration. You guys are in luck. We have one whole month left of Celebration. It goes all the way until February 28th. Now, that being said, this is the month where products are likely to start to disappear, not be available. We've unfortunately already seen our Clover Punch. It wasn't part of the Celebration offerings, but it was in our new mini catalog that started on the same day. We've already seen that go unorderable and it won't be coming back into stock. It's completely sold out. And Celebration items are the same way. When we run out of them, they don't restock them because it is such a short promotion. So although you have 1 month left to earn Celebration rewards, the pickings will start to diminish this month. Okay, so we've got our base kind of all created. I'm going to wait to tie our twine because I'm not sure where it's going to go yet. We have to create the pieces that are going to go on the front of this card now. So I've got two things here. I have a little strip of paper for a sentiment, and I have a larger paper to do some stamping of our citrus on it. So, oops, I'm going to bring in some blocks that I have here that have our citrus on them. And I do say citrus because this could be literally anything. Actually, it doesn't even have to be citrus. I've seen coconuts created with this set. But it could be lemons, limes, grapefruits, like you name it. Now, I had originally created this one to say, enjoy the sweeter things in life, but I need a ton of birthdays. So I'm actually going to use Have a Zesty Birthday on this card. And I'm going to stamp it in, is it Petal Pink or Blushing Bride? Uh-oh. I'm going to have to just do a little double check here with colors because I always get the two confused. It might have been Blushing Bride that I used. Petal Pink might be too orange. Yeah, I think it's actually Blushing Bride that I used for this one. I have used Petal Pink as well to create a nice grapefruit look. But I think for today's, it's actually Blushing Bride. So I'll have to go back and change that in the video description because I think I wrote down Petal Pink. Yeah, now yesterday we did use Petal Pink, Leslie Ann, but today I am using Blushing Bride. All right, so there's our Blushing Bride sentiment. And I'm going to just close that up a little bit right now. And I am going to, so you have a few options here. You can use paper snips to trim these ends. You can use our Banners Pick-a-Punch. This one does 1/2, 3/4, and 1-inch banners. Now, looking at this, so if I'm going to do that, I think I've done these ends just a little too big. So you don't have to have perfect ends when you're starting with this, but it's nice if you have the same size end when you're using this punch. And then I like to put it in upside down. Oops, wrong side. Just to make sure I'm not going too far. Like you'll be able to see your words if you've gone too far. Like I think I will on this side. Oh, no, I don't. Good. Okay, so now we have our little banner with Have a Zesty Birthday on it. If you don't have that punch, you can use your paper snips. It's just a little bit more challenging to get them looking exactly the same. All right, so that's going to go onto our card in a little bit. And now we're going to get to work on our citrus. So first things first is our Daffodil Delight. And I am using my Daffodil Delight on all of the rinds here. So I'm just actually applying the ink pad to the stamp, not the stamp to the ink pad. There we go. So, and then we're going to take this and put this right onto our cardstock. And as long as it's all on the cardstock, then we're all good. Okay. And now I'm going to get my Blushing Bride again. And like I said, Petal Pink also works for this, but because this card has the purple tones, I wanted something more pinky than orangey. So we're using Blushing Bride. Oh, that's why I get confused. I just swapped some spots on my wall. There we go. And then this one, you just kind of keep turning until you can see that all 3 citrus pieces line up with the 3 rinds. And voila, we have some beautiful little grapefruits and one little lemon. We're actually going to use both on this card as well. But you can pick and choose how you put together your citrus. Now, to get these cut out, you could totally grab a pair of snips and fussy cut them. But what I am actually going to do is grab my die that's going to beautifully cut those out. Now, you could also just cut them out. Nothing wrong with that. But instead, I'm going to bring in my big machine again, the right way so I can actually turn this handle. There we go. And I'm going to grab plate 1 again. I'm going to grab my embossing folder. Now, how can I put this so you guys will really be able to see what I'm doing here? I'm going to take my embossing folder and I'm going to put my die inside and I'll feel it kind of lock in place. Once it's locked in place like that, I'm going to take my cardstock. So you do need to really be able to kind of hold things in place as you're working here. It's not the easiest thing, but now I'm holding just the paper and it's holding everything in place. Now I've lined up my image with my die, and we can close that. Pop that down on plate 1, put plate 4 over top, and run the whole thing through. Okay, so now let's open this sandwich up and see what we've got. We now have this lovely set of citrus, and they are all embossed as well as colored. They're just so pretty. So you can use your dies separate, you can use your embossing folder separate, or you can use it all as a sandwich like I just showed you. That's the cool thing about these hybrid ones. All right, so now that we've got these done, I am going to pop these onto my card front, and I'm going to do it with dimensionals. So I have them somewhere. There we go. So I just kind of popped them on where I thought I wanted them. So this guy's kind of actually going over top of the one that's already there. And just like that. Maybe a little bit over, because I want this guy really close to the side. All right, so kind of play with it. Once you're happy with how it is, you could even put your dimensionals on the back, but leave their stickiness there. Then you can start to peel these off. And I'm also being kind of careful to not put them anywhere where they're going to bump into the other fruit. So I definitely want that one over like that. And then finally, I'm going to put a dimensional under the bottom of that lemon because he's kind of dipping. There we go. Peel this one off. And just up like that. Okay, so we've got that done. With this extra little bit, we could glue them on the inside of our card if we wanted. Like, we could do all sorts of stuff with this little guy, actually. But I'm just going to hold on to him and use him on another project. All right, so before we finish this up and put our sentiment on, I'm going to grab a little bit of white twine. Maybe I'm going to grab a little bit of white twine. So it comes in a pack. It's called the Essentials Baker's Twine. And so you get all sorts of colors. You get white, black, vanilla, crumb cake, gray granite. So tons of colors. So I'm going to tuck that under and slide it over. So we've got this now kind of around our ribbon and in that little corner where the citrus all meets up. Okay. Actually, do I want it there or do I want it out? I think I want it out. Move it out to this side of the citrus. And so I'm going to tie a little knot. And once I've got my knot tied, I'm going to tie a little bow. There we go. So I like doing it this way because now I haven't used adhesive. I'm not relying on adhesive to make sure that this ribbon stays on my card, or this twine stays on my card. I know it will because it's attached to the ribbon that I know is very securely attached to my card. All right. So that's done. And then we're going to take our sentiment and I'm going to cover up the knot and everything. Well, almost everything. I'm going to put it just a little bit below where that all came together. Actually, am I? Or am I going to change this up a bit? So that covers up so much of the ribbon. I actually don't want to do that. Okay, so we're actually going to change this up a bit. I'm going to slide this over like I'd originally thought. So our little white bow is right there in the corner with all that citrus. And then I'm actually going to put this one down a little bit lower. I like that better. It all just depends on how you're citrus ends up on your page and how it all ends up coming together. Do what looks right to your eye. So for me, this one looks better like this. All right, so we've got that. And now we need to add some embellishments. And the embellishment that I have been using this week are flat adhesive back pearls. This is actually your gift from me if you make a $70 purchase with me this week. And then somewhere on my table, or not, I have my Take Your Pick tool. It's just disappeared from my sights right now, though. Yeah, I'm going to have to do this the old-fashioned way, and I'm just going to use my scissors to actually pick these up. So I'm just use the tip of my scissors. Using the Take Your Pick tool is definitely easier. These ones have a lot of adhesive, and they're very sticky, actually. So when you place them, you don't actually want to press them down until you're sure that they are where you want them to be, because they really do stick once you've pressed them down. All right. So when you're placing these ones on the embossed area, just be careful, because if you place it where it's like on a ledge where it's on a raised bit and a lower bit, they might not stick as well. All right, so I've just got those kind of sprinkled around. I like where they are, so I'm going to press them down. And that is our finished card. Oh, thanks. Yeah, so that is the last card for my week of focusing on our Sweet Citrus and Favoured Flower Designer Series paper. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to have a whole new series. So if you really wanted to get your hands on this week's make and take kits for my Sweet Citrus class, today is your last day to do that. And there's a link in the description that takes you to all the information you need, how to order, what you'll get in your kit, and all of that stuff. But it's definitely featuring the Sweet Citrus. You're going to want to have that bundle. And what's great about that is when you purchase the bundle for $68.50, you actually earn a celebration product, so you can choose that Favoured Flowers Designer Series paper. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for joining me. I will be live again on Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. with next week's weekly card class to go. Oh, thank you very much. And yeah, I look forward to that. So you guys have a great day here in BC. It's gorgeous and sunny, very cold. But we're going to go enjoy that sun, get some vitamin D. So you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.